Loud Esmond here for Winners and Whiners, reminding you that we are trying to make you better betters. And by the way, great time to be involved in sports handicapping, sports betting. It's getting legalized all over the country. Just make sure you're doing it legal and safe, folks. We want everybody to stay on the up and up, don't want to get any trouble, and want to make sure your bets get paid out in a timely fashion and all those things that happen when you play by the rules. All right. I got to tell you, I'm a little disappointed in the playoffs coming up for the XFL. And that's because I really wanted to see A.J. McCarron with a chance to win a championship in a professional league. I think he's a guy whose career got short in the NFL just by happenstance and could have done some great things if he just had the luck bounce a little bit better his way. But no, instead, we get the Arlington Renegades taking on the Houston Roughnecks because even though the Renegades are 4-6 and the Battlehawks had a much better record, the Battlehawks were in the North Division, the Renegades are in the South. Basically, in the South, you had one team, Houston, and then everybody else was awful. And just by luck of being in the right division, a division that totally sucks, the Renegades of Arlington, coached by Mr. Stoops, get into the semifinal game against the Roughnecks. The Roughnecks went 7-3. This game is on Saturday. These teams have met a couple times before. The Roughnecks beat them 23-14 early in the season, and then just last week, they beat them 25-9. The spread on this game is Houston -6.5. Man, I see no reason why this isn't going to end the same way as the other two games. What's different? Nothing. The Roughnecks, although not great, are the class of the South Division. The Renegades have been kind of crappy all year. So they beat some bad teams. Brandon Silvers, the quarterback for the Roughnecks, has done very well. Tight end Sal Cannella has 42 receptions leading the team. He's done very well for them. They can play some defense too. So I don't, meh. That's where I'm leaning in this one anyway. North Division Championship. Now, this could be a really, really interesting game. The Seattle Sea Dragons dropped their first two games and looked bad in doing so. They were moving the ball on offense, so they couldn't do anything on defense. Couldn't stop a nosebleed, for God's sake. Now, these teams have played twice already as well. Defenders won the first game in week 1, 22-18, but the Sea Dragons had the ball at the 1-yard line with 19 seconds left, and quarterback Ben DiNucci fumbled the ball away. So that game could have been different. Now, in the other game, ended up 34-33 with the Sea Dragons failing to convert on a go-ahead 2-point attempt. So they lost by 4 early in the season, and then when they got much better, they lost by 1 to the Defenders. If there's one team that can pull an upset, I think it's the Sea Dragons. I don't see anything happening unless the Roughnecks completely fall apart or there's 5 turnovers by them and a special teams touchdown or something. I don't feel good about the chances of the Renegades advancing. But if we're looking at the Sea Dragons versus Defenders, I've got to lean Defenders, but I would not be shocked if the Sea Dragons pull it off. All right, there is your XFL Championship Weekend preview. No official picks, just some ideas of where I'm leaning. And oh, by the way, when it comes to over-unders in championship games, this guy named Rocky Giordani one time when I was betting an under on a NFL playoff game said, I never play unders when it comes to playoff games. And yeah, he's right. don't play unders in championship or semi-championship games. Generally doesn't work out that way. Referees tend to let the teams play a little bit more, call it less tight than they normally would, leads to more scoring. I'm Loud Esmond for Winners and Winers, trying to make you a better